off. Well, one guy who doesn't need to save any money right now is Ayo Dosunmu, inking a 3-year, $21 million deal to stay with the Chicago Bulls. I think this has a nice impact on Illinois. But Derek, what did you think of this when this came out? This is a little bit more money than I thought Ayo would get, but I'm happy for the guy, man. I'm such a fan of his. He didn't have the best season, let's be honest, with the huge opportunity that he had. But the Bulls obviously had think he has a lot of value, both short-term and long-term here.
Very happy for Ayo. I was with you. I was wondering how this is going to go. It seemed pretty quiet. Like it was a pretty quiet, just free agency kind of restricted free agency type of venture for him. And you saw Kobe White get re-signed. You saw them go out, get Javon Carter. And you just wondered what the future was going to be like in Chicago. Was he thinking that a better fit was going to be out there? I wondered about his appeal when he gets the qualifying offer. Was someone going to come in with more than $5 million annually to be able to make that a good competing offer?
And it didn't happen. And there's a part of me as a Bulls fan, Derek, that I go, were we bidding against ourselves? Is the Bulls perspective of this? But I'm so happy for Ayo. I don't care about that. But Toronto made a lot of sense on the court. Like he would have had a bigger role. Like Toronto, after losing Fred VanVleet, they need somebody that's going to play 25 plus minutes. I don't know if I was going to do that this year with the Bulls, given what they've added with Javon Carter and keeping Kobe White. But I also thought, are they going to pay him 3 years, $20 million? I didn't think, I don't know if they even have the cap space for that. I don't think they do. The NBA cap can be ridiculous. I don't know if they have the mid-level or whatever left, but there's just not a lot of teams that can both offer him the role he wants and the money he wants after a season in which he shot 31% from three. So I think this showed that the Bulls, one, didn't want to lose the asset of Ayo Dosunmu. It's a very tradable contract, but you also know, like 3 years, $21 million, Ayo's going to live up to that. Like he's going to give you some kind of value. You don't have to worry about him being Cristiano Felicio and you sign that deal and all of a sudden it's going to be a complete bust. He's going to be an NBA player. So I think for the Bulls, it made a lot of sense to keep him, to keep the asset. And because he could be valuable to somebody in a trade, he could be valuable to them on the court if they have an injury. Like if Caruso gets hurt again, Ayo Dosunmu can play. So, and he's going to get better, Derek. Like he's not going to get worse as a player because that's who Ayo Dosunmu is.
100%. He's always been the guy that's addressed his weaknesses and has put in tireless effort. And he's shown that from the defensive standpoint is obviously someone that can be disruptive and defend a lot of different guys. And I think just the experience now, 2 years in the league, understanding how to guard some people. I know he's given Trae Young some problems, but he'll be able to continue to learn and really dive into that side. I think the usage offensively is kind of fascinating because admittedly, I know the NBA, you play through your stars. And if you're not one of those guys, I think the same thing applies to a guy like Coleman Hawkins. And you can project this out for a number of different guys. I personally would love to see it. I think the better fit for Ayo is to have the ball in his hands more. It's just that when you have Zach LaVine, you have DeMar DeRozan, the reality is that especially if you're in that group, you're a spot-up guy. So you got to really become the best spot-up shooter that you possibly can. But I think that it is going to be interesting if they put him in a second unit. Can you have the ball in his hands a little bit more? Because I still go back to those stretches his rookie year when either LaVine was out or DeRozan was out. He put up some really good assist numbers. I thought he did some good things as the facilitator, saw the floor. I think he's good in pick and rolls. And yes, finisher at the rim is probably because he's not an explosive athlete or super explosive is something that's going to be a challenge for him at that level. But that's what I wondered. I wondered that, and I was even conflicted as, yes, I'm a casual Bulls fan, but also a big Ayo fan, that was it best for Ayo to go somewhere else and to have a little bit more on the ball and that type of a thing. But I do love that this contract gives commitment from the Bulls side to him. There was a situation where he takes the qualifying, it's 1 year, and if he is stuck in a spot up, doesn't shoot it well, then his value really kind of is in a tough spot.
Like Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick Nunn took a smaller deal, and he's like, I'm going to get to free agency. I'm going to play with LeBron, and I'll be better for it. He barely played there, got injured, and now I don't think he signed with anybody. He's one of the top free agents left, but he hasn't signed with anybody. The security of this for Ayo is awesome.
Yes.
To get the $21 million, he's going to hit free agency again at 26 when he's going to have his top value, right? So yeah, like I have those questions. I just don't know if he's going to get a role anywhere else where he'd had that. I get what you're saying. Like besides Toronto, there's so many teams like Houston, Detroit, like all these teams have highly drafted guards that aren't, Iowa's probably not going to steal their. So I get it. He's not really a 3-and-D player, but in the NBA, he has to be. And on this team, he has to be. When you got Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan. Listen, I wish I could. My plan would have been to trade DeRozan. I don't know what his market would have been, but I just think it opens up things for Kobe White, for Io, for Patrick Williams to kind of play a role. And listen, I love DeMar, everything about him. He's been great for Io too. He loves Io because they both work incredibly hard. But it's just you kind of know what you are, and it's a lot of 2-point jumpers. And I just feel like the Bulls need some more dynamic 3-point shooters and scoring opportunities, and let Zach LaVine be the superstar if he has to be the superstar. But on that team, he's going to have to be a 3-and-D guy. So he's just got to shoot better. He's got to shoot better. He's really good in transition. He's a great defender, phenomenal defender. So he's got a role in the NBA. It's just, is he fast enough? Is he quick enough to be what he was in college at this level? He hasn't proven to be that quite yet, but he does. Once he gets in a straight line, he can get to the rim. He just needs to finish better and just be more efficient offensively. But I think he set himself up for a nice long NBA career. And if you're Illinois, Derek, you need more guys like this. You need more NBA success stories. And while he's not a superstar in the NBA, I thought about it. This is the first Illini coach that can sell development of a guy who makes 20 plus million since Bruce Weber with Darren Williams. Wow. And the last time he could sell that was 2012, right? and the last time you could really sell a guy I recruited and is making that much money in the NBA was like Lou Henson with Kendall Gill. Like I recruited the guy, I developed him, and this. So like this is a good sell for Brad Underwood to Mikey Lewis, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, I mean, the in-state still the lasting power there up in Chicago to continue to have him there is very. It matters for sure for up and comers in Chicago. But yeah, I mean, even someone like Mikey Lewis, you know who I would assume who is, and that definitely helps. And guys, I've said it for years, is that they want to see who looks like me or has played a role similar to me that's gotten to the NBA, and then they got to stick. They got to stick to be relevant.
It makes money.
It makes some money. Illinois for a long time didn't have that piece. They'd be going up against another program that sent somebody to the NBA. They'd say, hey, just like this guy, Illinois couldn't point to anybody. They can do that with Io. And yes, hopefully from their standpoint, they get that out of Coleman, they get that out of Terrence, and continue to push that forward, because it matters a lot in recruiting. That's how top prospects think, is that they want to have success in college and everything, but they want to get to the NBA. They want to have staying power. They want to be set up for a long time. And this deal helps Io for a 3-year window. And yes, I agree with you. I think from the get-go, we all expected Io to be a long tenured pro, just the way he works and the talent that he has.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Like, I think I was going to have opportunity with the Bulls. He had opportunity last year, right? 51 starts, 26 minutes per game. So he's going to have opportunity because he's going to be like the 9th or 10th guy on this team. He can outplay Javon Carter. Like, go play better than him. Somebody's probably going to get injured on this team at some point in that backcourt. So I'm excited for him, man. No one more deserving than this. And what a story. I mean, 2 years after being drafted, 38, Derek, you're at that draft party. He's got $21 million coming in the bank. Or I guess after taxes, it's probably about 11 million in Chicago, but
that's pretty nice though. Still,
it's pretty good.
But yeah, you said it with Caruso's injury, and then I mean Kobe White too. Like 2 years ago, Io's rookie year, Io definitely, in my opinion, outplayed Kobe that year. Kobe definitely had a better year last year, and I think they can complement each other well. Kind of in a second unit, or if one slots in the starting role, I'm excited. I'm excited to see more Io in Chicago for sure.
Yeah, and the other part, he's a Bull. Right. This for the Bulls, this is just like you got a guy that's a hometown kid, he's not a Derrick Rose level player, but he's a hometown kid. He's a fan favorite. You got the Illinois connection there. And for Illinois, it's like, oh, that guy playing 2 hours north. Yeah. Especially for the in-state kids, Jeremiah Fears. Hey, look at this guy. Came to our program, developed into an NBA guy. That's positive. So you can keep those Bulls Io DeSumo jerseys, at least for a little bit longer.
Me and you both have a Io DeSumo Bulls rookie card.
That's right. That's right. Let me pick it out. There you go. Right there.
There it is.
First pack of cards I bought in like 20 years, and I got an Io DeSumo rookie. I was so pumped.
That's awesome.
I'm happy about that. It's next to my Darren Williams.
Keeping him in that jersey is good.
That's
good
right.
Deal.